Are you poor, forlorn, and hungry? Are there lots of things you lack? Is your life made up of misery? Then dump the bosses off your back. Are your clothes all patched and tattered? Are you living in a shack? Would you have your troubles scattered? Then dump the bosses off your back. Are you almost split asunder, loaded like a long-eared jack? Boob, why don't you buck like thunder and dump the bosses off your back? All the agonies you suffer, you can end with one good whack. Stiffen up, you ornery duffer, and dump the bosses off your back.
My mother didn't mention the fire until she was 90. In my opinion, it was because it was a very bad memory. It was a horrendous, horrific event. What she did say was, when the fire broke out, it was bedlam. They couldn't get to the elevators. The doors were locked. Women were jumping out of windows. And she figured they were going to save the bosses on the 10th floor. So she picked up her skirt, put it over her head, ran through the flames, and up to the 10th floor. When there was no one there, the bosses were gone. And she went up to the roof, and there was a fireman and a policeman, and they helped her over to the next roof. And she said all those who followed her were saved because they followed her going up. And many of them thanked her. When she came down, all blackened, her father saw her and passed out. And the children of the people who followed her called my sister and told them when they saw the obit that their mothers credited her with saving their lives and never stopped talking about her. That was the comment verbatim that I heard. She didn't brag about it. She wasn't proud of it. It made her go to. It taught her to go to school and better herself. She was going to be 18 2 days later. I don't think it was a memory she wanted to remember. I really don't. My sister thinks it because it was too menial. I think it was because it was too horrific.
To Calumet, Michigan in the copper country, I'll take you to a place called Italian Hall, and the miners are having their big Christmas ball. I'll take you in a door and up a high stairs. Singing and dancing is heard everywhere. I'll let you shake hands with the people you see and watch the kids dance round the big Christmas tree. You ask about work and you ask about pay. They'll tell you they make less than $1 a day, working their copper claim, risking their lives. So it's fun to spend Christmas with children and wives. There's talking and laughing and songs in the air, and the spirit of Christmas is there everywhere. Before you know it, you're friends with us all, and you're dancing around and around in the hall. Well, a little girl sits down by the Christmas tree lights to play the piano, so you gotta keep quiet. Hear all this fun, you would not realize that the copper holler, boss thug men are milling outside. The copper boss thugs stuck their heads in the door. One of them yelled and he screamed, there's a fire. A lady, she hollered, there's no such a thing. Keep on with your party, there's no such a thing. A few people rushed and it's only a few. It's just the thugs and the scabs fooling you. A man grabbed his daughter and he carried her down, but the thugs held the door and he could not get out. And then others followed, 100 or more, but most everybody remained on the floor. The gun thugs, they laughed at their murderous joke, while the children were smothered on the stairs by the door. Such a terrible sight I never did see. We carried our children back up to their tree. The scabs outside still laughed at their spree, and the children that died there was 73. The piano played a slow funeral tune, and the town is lit up by a cold Christmas moon. The parents, they cried, and the miners, they moaned. See what your greed for money has done.
When we didn't have the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, we didn't know from day to day whether we had a job or not.
It was a hard way to live.
That's why we work to get the union. We need something to count on.
We're working fair hours for fair pay now.
The ILG gives us a chance to better ourselves and our kids.
That's our union.
And that's what our label stands for.
Look for the union label when you are buying a coat, dress, or blouse. Remember somewhere our union's sewing, our wages going to feed the kids. And from the house we work hard, but who's complaining? Thanks to the ILG we're paying our way. So it's for the union label, except we're able to make it work.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Graveyard Shift. Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties, so I apologize if my mixes are a little awkward. I'm having trouble over here. It's hard. But I'm here to talk to you guys today about the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire, and we're going to talk about some early folk music, workers' music from the 1910s to the 1930s and labor organizing during that time. So just to start off, the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire was at the factory. So this was a factory near Washington Square Park right here, pretty near the studio. And the fire happened on March 25th, 1911. And there are two memorials to the victims that are in Queens that I visited. So one is in the Evergreen, and then there's another one that's in the Cavalry Cemetery. And there's also a plaque. If you're around the Washington Square Park area, there's a plaque dedicated to the victims of the fire that you can go take a look at. I think about them every time I walk through that zone. A lot of people jump to their deaths from the 9th floor of the building. And you can look up at that building and see how high up that is. And yeah, just imagine what that must have been like. So yeah, these people were trapped mostly because of the fact that the doors to the factory that they would have escaped through were locked, and they had been locked by the bosses to stop workers from taking smoke breaks. There was also a fire escape that was not in good condition, and that collapsed when people tried to use it to escape. So yeah, it's pretty bleak. It's a really bleak history, but it did kind of galvanize a lot of movements across the United States to fight for workers' rights. And I'm going to talk a little bit about all kinds of stuff that was happening across the United States at that time. that had to do with getting workers better wages, getting them safer workplaces. And so, yeah, this is what our show's about today. And what strikes me the most about reliving the history of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory is just how young the people who died were. So most of these people were children. They were girls under 18. And rereading their stories, I was just struck by how intelligent and brave they sound, and how stupid I remember being when I was 16. And I was just floored by how eloquent and beautiful their testimonies were. So you can go see, if you'd like. The records were lost for a really long time, but there are some written records of women who testified at the trial of the bosses of the factory, and those are all online on Cornell University's website. So, yeah, for music, we're going to look at some of the folk songs that accompanied the labor movement in that time, so 1900s to 1930s. And yeah, this music isn't talked about so much, or at least I hadn't heard a lot about it until now, but it did inspire a lot of artists during the folk revival, and it kind of spread into many genres throughout the whole 20th century. So it'll be really nice to go back to some of those sources. The first song you heard, Dump the Bosses Off Your Back, was written for the International Workers of the World's Little Red Songbook. So that was a book of songs that started being published in 1900. It was these songs that were meant to be used at protests to rally people together. And that was a version sung by Joe Glazer in 1954. I could not find any earlier recordings of this song. I think because it was a protest song, and recording protest music was not common in that half of the century. And then you heard an excerpt with the son of an interview with the son of Rose Friedman, who was one of the survivors of the fire. And then an amazing Woody Guthrie track, the 1913 Massacre. I added that one in because it is a parallel tragedy that occurred 2 years after the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Members of a striking union were gathered in a hall for Christmas, and a cop, or what is believed to be a cop or a union buster, yelled fire, like started a fake threat of a fire, and there was a stampede, and 79 people died, including like half of those were children. And I mean, just reading about that history, I was thinking about how these people must have known about the Triangle Factory fire, and how that fire was used against them by union busters and killed so many of them because of the fear of that fire that had just happened 2 years ago. So yeah, I wanted to play that one for you. And then the amazing jingle from the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, look for the union label, played right after that. So that was more of a fun one. It's all members of the union that were invited to audition for these advertisements that plays in the 80s that were like encouraging people to buy clothes that were made by the union. And it's just such a beautiful jingle. So I really wanted to add it. So yeah, I'm going to send you into a little more music now. I hope you like our episode, and yeah, I hope it inspires you.
You can tell the coal operators about this. You can tell the company we done quit. Tell them what the non-union have done. Tell them that the Pamex have come, and it brought sorrow, I clear unto my home. I went up on the top of my house the other day. Yes, I did. Went up on the top of the house to see about my weed. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. The chicken women said that it docked me for sleep. Yes, they did, my lordy, yes, they did. You can tell the coal operators about this. You can tell the company we done quit. Tell them what the non-union have done. Tell them that the Pamex have come, and it brought sorrows I clear unto my soul. Business told the operators the other day. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Before they signed the contract to leave this place. Yes, they did, my lordy, yes, they did. You can tell the coal operators about this. You can tell the company we done quit. Tell 'em what the non-union have done. Tell 'em that the Panamax have come, and it brought sorrows high clear unto our home. Business told the operator the other day, yes, it did. Yes, they did. Bill signed a contract to leave this place. Yes, they did, my lord. Yes, they did. You can tell the coal operators about this. You can tell the company we done quit. Tell 'em what the non-union have done. Tell 'em that the Panamax have come, and it brought sorrows high clear unto my soul. Sam told Bittner the other day, yes, it did. Yes, it did. Before we signed the contract, they'll all be dead. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You can tell the coal operators about this. You can tell the company we done quit. Tell 'em what the non-union have done. Tell 'em that the Panamax have come, and it brought sorrows high clear unto our home.
I'm just an old coal miner, and I labor for my bread. This story in my memory I've here told, for the sake of wife and baby, how a miner risks his life for the price of just a little lump of coal. Don't forget me, little darling, when they lay me down to rest. Tell my brothers all these loving words I say. Let the flowers be forgotten, sprinkle coal dust on my grave, in remembrance of the UMWA. Mother Jones is not forgotten by the miners of this field. She's gone to rest above, God bless her soul. Tried to lead the boys to victory, but was punished here in jail for the price of just a little lump of coal. When a miner in the morning gets his car up to the face, he'll set some timbers, then he'll bore himself a hole. He'll get a shot of powder, get his battery and his line. He's shooting down that little lump of coal. When a man has toiled and labored till his life it's almost gone, then the operator thinks he's just a fool. They sneak around and fire him just because he's growing old, and swear they caught him breaking company rules. Don't forget me, little darling, when they lay me down to rest. Tell my brothers all the loving words I say. Let the flowers be forgotten, sprinkle coal dust on my grave, in remembrance of the UMWA. Tell me, what will a coal miner do? Tell me, what will a coal miner do when he go down in the mire? Joy loaders he will find. Tell me, what will a coal miner do? Miners' poor pocketbooks are growing lean. Miners' poor pocketbooks are growing lean. They can't make $1 at all. Here's every place to fall. Place it all on that coal loading machine. Tell me, what will a coal miner do? Tell me, what will a coal miner do when he go down in the mine?
joy loaders he will find. Tell me, what will a coal miner do? Now, boys, I think I have a scheme, and I'm sure that it's neither rude nor mean. We will pick our bone and refuse, then we'll know our coal is clean. Then we'll outdo that coal loading machine. Tell me, what will a coal miner do? Tell me, what will a coal miner do? When he go down in the mine, joy loaders he will find. Tell me, what will a coal miner do? Tell me, what will a coal miner do?
Hello, welcome back. So those were a few songs sorry, from the 20s and 30s that you heard at the end there. Like I said, there's a really big gap in the recording of union songs, of workers' rights songs in the 20s and 30s, mostly because there was less interest in recording these songs of protest, and also because the technology didn't make it really widely available to be able to record these kinds of songs. So we're relying heavily on some early folk recordists, one of them being Alan Lomax. And those are people that gave us these recordings. So you heard a few of them. The first one, Sprinkle Coal Dust on My Grave, was recorded by Orville Jenkins. And then you heard Coal Loading Machine. That was that group one by the Evening Breezes Sextet. And then you also heard Sam Johnson. I think I played that one. Yes, I did. And he sang We Done Quit, and that was recorded in 1940. So all of those were part of this project to record the songs that miners had written about their own struggle. And yeah, Sam Johnson is interesting because he is the only recorded artist that I could find who was a coal miner, who was recording union songs. He's like one of two black miners that I was able to find recordings from. It's quite rare to be able to have their perspectives on it. Most of the workers whose thoughts were recorded were white, even though that's not really a reflection of who was working these jobs, because they were very dangerous and very low-paying jobs. So yes, it was a lot of immigrants, like recent immigrants from Europe, and then also recent immigrants from South America, but it was also a lot of Black Americans. And yeah, so those were all from the 20s and 30s. I'm going to play you a little bit more contemporary stuff now. We're going to go into the 1950s. But the song I want to play, this is one of my favorite finds from this research. It's about another songwriter. So there was a songwriter for the IWW, the International Workers of the World. He was a member of the IWW, and he was also a union activist, and he was executed on false murder charges in 1926. So he was accused of a murder he didn't commit, and he was killed, and he became this martyr for the cause. And he just influenced the imagination of many, many people after that. So in the 30s, there were poems that were written about him. There were songs that were written about him. He really became this figurehead to this movement. And I recommend looking into him a little more. He has some really beautiful texts. His last words before he was executed were, "Don't mourn, organize." And yeah, he's just seemed like a really amazing person. He was 36 when he died. And yeah, one of the songs that his death spawned was this famous labor rights song about continuing the struggle despite death, and about the impossibility to kill a movement. And this version that I'm going to play for you is sung by Paul Robeson, who was also an amazing activist in his own right. He did so much for labor rights, for civil rights, and for anti-war activism. He was really a part of this scene in the 1950s. He was blacklisted. He toured the USSR, and he also sang. He would go into mining camps and sing for the miners. So recommend looking into him as well. We don't have too much time, but I'm going to play you his version, and I hope you like it.
I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake City, Joe, says I, am standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe, I didn't die. Says Joe, I didn't die. And standing there as big as life, and smiling with his eyes, says Joe, what they can never kill, went on to organize, went on to organize. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill, where workers strike and organize, it's there you'll find your hill. It's there you'll find your hill. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. Died, says he. I never died, says he.
I used to sew a lot of things, but I never thought. But my friends encouraged me, the people around the neighborhood. Says, oh, come on, we have a good time. We have lunch together. We used to bring our, we used to walk and laugh, coming in. Oh, we had such a good time. That was a terrible thing. And when we got down, we saw the 3 flights burning. I says, for good, were we up there? We couldn't imagine. The 3 flights, the wind was blowing all up and everything was caught. From 1, 2, 3, the 3 flights of office and everything were burning. 3 flights were burning.
8, 9, and 10.
Oh,
right. Yeah, it was 8, 9, and 10, because it started on the 8th.
Yeah. They had a big office upstairs. That's where they had all the...
What was it like out on the street when the firemen let you go out from the building?
Oh, my God, we never thought we were up there. We were all very nervous and crying. My God, I was cold. I had no coat or nothing. So man was very nice. He took us in the car. We asked where we're going.
So you didn't stay there. You went straight home.
Oh, straight home. They were glad to take us home. The firemen, sure.
What was going on downstairs when you came down? What did you see when you came down from...
The people, our bodies, it was terrible. We got sick. The men took us away right away. You know, some of them went down with those, those little glasses.
Yeah,
lights. They went right through that. Can you imagine?
And you saw that? You saw the people. You saw like the broken glass.
When I think of all those girls getting engaged to be married, I felt terrible. That was a sight to see.
Well, as you know, a lot of laws were passed after the trial.
Oh, yeah, I know. You know why? There was no balconies. If there were balconies, there wouldn't have happened that.
Right.
Yeah. We'd go on the balcony, and how those girls did it. I don't know how they had the courage to throw themselves down. I couldn't do it. That lingerie was so white. It went in a blaze in a minute.
Yeah, it must have been floating all around the room.
And then the windows got caught, the shades, everything. Oh, my God. When we went down, I never thought the 3 flights were burning.
Yeah.
They didn't realize.
I said, and you were in that? The man says, no, come on, don't look there anymore. You come with me. We'll take you home. He took us home. He was a very nice man.
I guess the sky must have been black and
oh, the
they were.
smoke. Oh, it was terrible. I'll never forget that time. Never. I'll never forget it.
Long-haired preachers come out every night, try to tell you what's wrong and what's right. But when asked how about something to eat, they will answer with voices so sweet. You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky, way up high, work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. Holy rollers and jumpers come out, and they sing and they clap and they shout. Give your money to Jesus, they say. He will cure all diseases today. And you will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. And the Starvation Army, they play, and they sing and they clap and they pray, till they get all your coin on the drum. But they'll tell you when you're on the bum, you will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky, way up high, work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. Working men of all countries unite. Side by side we for freedom will fight. When this world and its wealth we have gained, to the grafters we'll sing this refrain. You will eat by and by when you've learned how to cook and to fry and bake a pie, chop some wood, it'll do you good, and you'll eat in the sweet by and by, you wise guy.
Hello. So you just heard a few things. The first one, again, was Paul Robeson singing that song, Joe Hill, about seeing him in a dream and about continuing the struggle. Yeah, isn't his voice is so amazing. I think it really brings that song to a totally different level. Again, that was recorded in 1955. And then after that, you heard a excerpt from an interview with Pauline Pepe, who was one of the survivors of the fire. Sadly, this was only recorded in 1986, and by that time she was 96 years old, so she's not super coherent. And yeah, one of the real tragedies, like I said before, is also that no one thought to record these histories. There was so much time to do that. All these people died in the 70s and 80s, so there was time, there was technology, there was totally the possibility to have an oral history of this event, but we sadly don't have it. And there's a huge lack of sources. Basically there's like stuff from 1911, and then there's stuff from the from the 80s. And it just blows my mind that no one recorded them. And then it makes me think, like, is there things that I should be recording now that I'm gonna think about this way later? Anyway, It's kind of alarming. But as she's saying, the fire at the Triangle Shirtwaist factory broke out on the 8th floor, and the doors on the 9th floor of the building had been locked to prevent the workers from taking smoke breaks. And the room was full of flammable clothing, and it was such a cramped space that the blaze moved really, really quickly, and people did not have time to escape. And many of them jumped out of the windows. I thought her comment on that was so beautiful, that she said that she thought they were very brave, the girls who jumped, and that she never could have done it. It just seemed, it was such a nice thing to say. Yeah, I don't know. I found it very touching. And what she's talking about, I was confused when she was talking about the glass, but it used to be that these kind of storm doors on the ground level of buildings would have these like glass, almost like round bottle end type structures. You can see some of them, like very, very old New York glass, just like almost a storm door, but made out of glass, so that you could get light into a basement, but it would still be able to be walked on. So that is what people fell through, and that's what she's describing. There are some images, if you want to go on Cornell University's website, just be careful, they're pretty gruesome, but there are some images of those broken storm doors. And yeah, after that you heard Pie in the Sky, which was a Joe Hill original. So we're going to play some of the songs that he wrote. He wrote that song in 1911, and the performer was one of his friends, Harry McClintock. And Harry was like kind of a mentee of Joe Hill. He was much younger. He was like 15 when Joe Hill died, but he would perform this song at demonstrations all the time. And it was recorded in the 1950 when Harry was like in his 60s. So yeah, I'm going to go back a little bit to the 1930s now. We're going to go back into the Alan Lomax archive, and this track is from 1939.
The sound can distinct. 1, 2, 3, 4, Brownsville, Texas. Does the sound. Bueno, listo, tira la raya. Go.
Yo cuando era niño, mi padre querido, a pis perseguido feliz me enseñó. Por eso me vengo en agosto de lleno, cuando ya está bueno todo el algodón. 40 centavos fue el precio adoptado, en todo el condado pudieron pagar. Pero ahora en este año, si acaso estoy vivo, si a peso lo pagan, no voy a pisar. Los que iban más antes pues me platicaban que los que pisaban hacían un furor. Compraban expresos, carros y caballos, gallinas y gallos de grande valor. Los que iban más antes pues me platicaban que los que pisaban hacían un furor. Compraban expresos, carros y caballos, gallinas y gallos de grande valor. 40 centavos fue el precio adoptado, que todo el condado pudieron pagar. Lloraban los surcos, cual una criatura, y hasta con la luna, que hasta con la luna salía yo a pisar. Por eso de nuevo me fui hasta Laredo, no traje dinero ni lo pude hallar. Andaba en las calles cual habla de un mudo, porque hubo picudo y lo pagaron mal. Por eso de nuevo me fui hasta Laredo, no traje dinero ni lo pude hallar. Andaba en las calles cual habla de un mudo, porque hubo picudo y lo pagaron mal. 40 centavos fue el precio adoptado, que en todo el condado pudieron pagar. Lloraban los orcos de ver mi fortuna, que hasta con la luna, que hasta con la luna salía yo a piscar.
I'm a bum, hallelujah, I'm a bum. Oh, why don't you work like other men do? How the world can I work when there's no work to do? Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give a hand out to revive me again. I'm a bum again, yes. Is that the handout? Well, revive me again, brother, yes. Oh, I love my boss, and my boss, he loves me, and that is the reason I'm oh so hungry. Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give a hand out to revive me again. Oh, hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give a hand out. Please revive me again, again. Encore, again, once more. Hallelujah, boom. Revive me again. I'm a bum.
The workers on the SB line for strikes had out a call, but Casey Jones, the engineer, he wouldn't strike at all. His boiler, it was leaking, and the drivers on the bum, and the engines and the bear, and they were all out of plumb. Casey Jones kept his junk pile running. Casey Jones was working double time. Casey Jones got a wooden medal for being good and faithful on the SB line. The workers said to Casey, won't you help us win this strike? But Casey said, let me alone, you'd better take a hike. Well, Casey's wheezy engine ran right off the wheezy track, and Casey hit the river with an awful smack. Casey Jones hit the river bottom. Casey Jones broke his bloomin' spine. Casey Jones turned into an angel. He got a trip to heaven on the SP line. When Casey got to heaven way up to that pearly gate, he said, I'm Casey Jones, the guy that pulled the SP freight. You're just the man, said Peter, our musicians are on strike. You can get a job a scabbing anytime you like. Casey Jones got a job in heaven. Casey Jones was doing mighty fine. Casey Jones went scabbing on the angels, just like he did to workers on the SP line. Well, the angels got together, they said it wasn't fair for Casey Jones to go around a scabbing everywhere. The Angels Union number 23, they sure were there. They promptly fired Casey down the golden stair. Casey Jones, I went to hell a-flying. Casey Jones, the devil said, oh fine. Casey Jones, get busy shoveling sulfur, it's what you get for scabbing on the SP line.
Ready for me to start? This is Ruby Raines singing Roll Out the Pickets. This song was composed during the cotton strike of 1939 at Arvin, California. Roll out the pickets, we'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the pickets, keep up the fight till we won. Associated farmers will very soon see
so young and so fine. Seek not your fortune in the dark, dreary mine. It'll form as a habit, it'll seep in your soul, till the blood in your veins runs black as the coal. For it's dark as a dungeon, and it's damp as the dew, where the dangers are double, the pleasures are few, where the rain never falls, the sun never shines. Oh God, it's dark as a dungeon, way down in the mine. Oh, it's many a man I've known in my day who lived just to labor his whole life away, like a fiend for his dope, a drunkard his wine. A man will have lust for the lure of the mind. Oh, I hope when I die and the aged do roam, yes, my body will harden and turn into coal. Then I look from the door of my heavenly home to see a poor miner a digging my bones. Oh, it's dark as a dungeon, damp as the dew, where the dangers are double, pleasures are few, where that rain never falls, the sun never shines. Oh God, it's dark as a dungeon, way down in a mine.
Okay, welcome back. So, yeah, you heard a few things again. Just to kind of note at the beginning, I want to talk about the history of this kind of music, of workers' rights music. It did come partially from the late 1800s in Europe, but it was really deeply influenced by the songs of enslaved peoples and then the songs of incarcerated people. So, mostly Black Americans who were first enslaved and then incarcerated, and songs that kind of decried that violence of both of those things, and also the songs that were about working in those environments are what paved the way for these labor songs to happen and become much more pointed in their accusations of theft by the bosses. So, yeah, just to point out the history of that. It came out of those songs, those traditional work songs, songs from socialism happening in Europe, and then songs of enslaved and incarcerated people. All that came together and gave us these labor rights songs that we have now. So that's, it's a whole other episode, but we're focused today on songs about unionization. So that's the song you heard, Yo Cuando Era Niño Mi Padre Querido, was sung by Jose Suarez. It's called When I Was a Little Boy, My Beloved Father, and it was recorded by Alan Lomax. Thank you again to Alan Lomax for doing all these recordings in the 30s. And it describes how these cotton workers, these migrant cotton workers, had lower pay than previous generations and worsening work conditions. So the singer's talking about how his father was able to make a living in this way, and he is struggling to make the same living. And then after that, you heard Fats Waller covering Hallelujah, I'm a Bum. That is another IWW song. Harry McClintock wrote that one when he was only 15. He wrote that song in 1899. And that song stands out to me because it is an IWW song that was recorded a lot in the 20s and 30s by various artists, which is kind of weird because most of these songs were just totally forgotten about until the folk revival. I think that it was recorded because it doesn't really assign a specific blame to capitalist bosses, to the people at the top of the capitalist pyramid scheme. And so it was like much more palatable to a wider audience. So I still think he has so much fun with it. He's so tongue-in-cheek. He's got just so much presence in his recordings. That is from an album called Fine Arabian Stuff. I recommend listening to the whole album if you liked it. We heard another fun one after that. That was Casey Jones, The Union Scab. So that's a track that Joe Hill wrote in 1911, and it was written for the workers of the Illinois Central Railroad who were on strike at that time. And that version that you heard was Pete Seeger. Pete Seeger was doing that with the Almanac Singers. Yeah, I really liked those two songs, Hallelujah, I'm a Bum, Casey Jones, and then Roll Out the Pickets, which came after that, which was sung by Ruby Raines. That was her original song and was recorded again in 1939. And she was also a union activist. She sounds really young. I don't know how old she was when she recorded it, but she sounds really young. So yeah, I keep thinking of those three songs as a part of this episode as songs that were about asking for better conditions, but also kind of having a lot of fun with it and being on the picket line with other people and having fun with them and building solidarity with the people around you, with the workers around you through this kind of shared experience of having fun together and laughing together in the face of the struggle, and how important that is to any kind of successful movement, is this feeling of being in solidarity, not just within ideas, but also just being with people that you love and that you care about. And yeah, after that we heard Harry Belafonte. He was doing a version of the Miners' song Dark as a Dungeon. That is from 1962, that recording. But Merle Travis wrote that song in 1946, and it was a rallying cry for a lot of different groups of miners in the U.S. who were seeking better working conditions. And I think the reason that one was very popular as well, again, it doesn't assign a specific blame to the bosses. So yeah, I guess you could get away with this kind of wider appeal by not calling out people specifically, but then the kind of message of like take the power back is a little more lost in songs like Dark as a Dungeon, which is just like, you know what, don't be a miner, which I think is not really a feasible option for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm going to play you somebody next who I really enjoyed getting recordings from. Her name is Aunt Molly Jackson, and she was definitely very unafraid to call out the bosses. She was the wife of a miner in Kentucky, and she did a lot for union organizing. She was a really well-known figurehead, and there's these amazing recordings of her that Alan Lomax did after she fled to New York City in the 30s to kind of avoid this persecution. So this is a recording that she did in 1931 in New York, and I'll play that for you next. It's called Ragged Hungry Blues.
Friends and comrades, I've had some very interesting letters from Kentucky this morning, and I have so much on my mind I hardly know how to address you. And I will endeavor to sing to you my hungry, wearied blues that I composed when I was down there suffering with those people. And now wait until I can strike a note, a chord. I'm sad and weary I've got the hungry ragged blues. I'm sad and weary. I've got the hungry ragged blues. Not a penny in the pocket to buy one thing I need to you. I woke up this morning with the worst blues I ever had in my life. I woke up this morning with the worst blues I ever had in my life. Not a bite to cook for breakfast, a poor coal miner's wife. When my husband works in the coal mine, he loads a car on every trip. When my husband works in the coal mine, he loads a car on every trip. Then he goes to the office that evening to get denied of script, just because it took all he made that day to pay his money expense. Just because it took all he made that day to pay his money expense. A man that will work for just coal, light, and carbide, he ain't got a speck of sense. This is Aunt Molly Jackson again from Bell County, Kentucky. I'm going to finish for you my ragged, wearied blues. I want you to listen very closely to this now, because it was written it's from my heart and not from a pen. So wait until I can hit a chord. All the women in the coal camps are sitting with bowed down heads. All the women in coal camps are sitting with bowed down heads. Ragged and barefooted, and the children crying for bread. No food, no clothes for our children. I'm sure this hate would lie. No food, no clothes for children. I'm sure this hate would lie. If we can't get more for labor, we'll starve to death and die. Don't go under the mountains with a sledge hanging over your head. Please don't go under the mountains with a sledge hanging over your head. And work for just coal and carbide, and your children crying for bread. This mining town I live in is a sad and lonely place. This mining town I live in is a sad and lonely place, where pity and starvation is pictured on every face. Some coal operators might tell you the hungry blues are not bad. Some coal operator might tell you the hungry blues are not bad. They're the worst kind of blues this poor woman ever had.
Now, at that time, when my sister was engaged, they made an engagement party on Sunday night. And it lasted till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Naturally, we couldn't go to work the next day. And when we didn't come to work the next day, our machines were taken already. And when we came to work on Tuesday, they gave us 2 machines on the 9th floor.
What floor were you on before that?
We were on the 8th. And they gave us 2 machines on the 9th floor. So actually, I don't know, if I was superstitious, I would say perhaps disengagement was maybe, if my sister wouldn't have this engagement party, perhaps she would be alive today.
Why did the people on the 8th floor survive?
Most of the people on the 8th floor survived. As I recall, the fire started on the 8th floor. Just about the time when the machines, 5 o'clock, at that time we worked Saturday till 5 o'clock. Just as the machine stopped. And when I never waited for the elevator because the elevators were too crowded and most of the time they got stuck. Now my sister, she knew that our boyfriend was waiting for her downstairs. So she went into the dressing room. I suppose she wanted to, like women now, put some, I don't know whether they used lipstick that time, I don't remember.
Freshen up.
But they went, and I went over to the elevator. I heard some noise. So I thought to myself, I guess the elevator's out of order again. And I walked down the stairs from the 9th and 8th floor. When I went down, I saw the entire 8th floor is aflame. Nobody there. And when I looked out the window, I saw girls, people walking down the fire escape. And I stopped to look. I didn't know what this is the first time I saw fire in this country. I was only 3 months in this country. I came in December, that was January, February, March the 11th, 1911. March the 25th, 1911. Now, I wanted to go back and get my sister. But while I turned back, there was a fireman right behind me. He grabbed me by my shoulder. He says, "What are you doing here? Where are you going?" I says, "I'm on my sister's up there. I want to go back, save my sister." He says, "You better go down if you want to save your life." But I went down. Of course, I went down on the 7th floor. And on the 7th floor, I stopped. I couldn't go back already because the flames were all over, affected. I couldn't pass anymore. But I stopped on the 7th floor and I watched the girls go by. Most of them were girls. And I didn't see my sister. But then some more firemen came up and they told me to walk down. And when I came down, I saw already quite a number of people jumping from the window.
Was your sister one of those who jumped?
No, my sister was burned to death. She was so badly blind that we couldn't recognize her.
Every morning just at 5, got to get up, dead or alive. It's hard times at the mill, my love, hard times at the mill. Every morning just at 6, don't that old bell make you sick? It's hard times at the mill, my love, hard times at the mill. Me bobbin's all out, me ends all down, the duffer's in the alley and I can't get round. It's hard times at the mill, my love, hard times at the mill. The overlook standing at the door, watching us crawling down on the floor. It's hard times at the mill, my love, hard times at the mill. Smashed me hand in the main shift drive. They said I was lucky to be alive. It's hard times at the mill, my love, hard times at the mill. Ain't it enough to break your heart after work all day and at night it's dark? It's hard times at the mill, my love, hard times at the mill.
Harlan County Blues, folks.
A bunch of fellas said the day for to Harlan went. They told me about the fun they had, all the time in jail they spent. Most of the fellas were like me who didn't go along. But if you want the story, boys, just listen to this song. You didn't have to be drunk, they said, to get soda in the can. The only thing you needed be was just a union man. None of the boys didn't like it much, they said they're treated bad. They took their knives, their pocketbooks, or anything they had. Throwed Bill Wheeler in the can with all his pies and gases. He had no money to pay a fine, but they just took his glasses. Then Kelly said, you can't do this to me, when they come to get his name. The hell they can't. The jailer said, you in here just the same. Walter is a funny chap, with me you'll all agree. He wants someone to hold to him when he gets on a spree. Delmas, he went down the street to restaurant was bent. So when two fellas picked him up and to the jail he went. Put Bill Sheets in the jailhouse for reckless walking, so they say. They can't hold old Bill for that, 'cause he always walks that way. Sam Ward went to the jailhouse and the jailer twirled his keys. Sam said, Mr. Jailer, now won't you listen, please? Everything grew quiet, boys, you couldn't hear a sound. Turn 'em out. Sam Ward said, I'll turn this jail around. When they all was free again, you could hear them all take on. Just think of the fun that we'd have missed if we hadn't come along. Then our president, he asked Gervais, how'd you get along so well? And Taylor Cornett laughed and said, why, I was drunk as hell. Lloyd Baker went over there to dodge the jail, he did. He said they'd all stayed out of jail if they kept their buttons hid. Now my song is ended and I hope no one is sore. If there is, then please speak up and I won't sing no more.
Roll on, buddy, roll on easy. How can I roll when the wheel don't go? Looked at the sun looked high. Looked at my boy, he looked shy. Looked at the sun looked low. Looked at my boy, was it time to go? He said, roll on, buddy, roll on easy. how can I roll when the wheel don't go? This old hammer, little too heavy, take it for my side, take it for my side. And every little thing you see shining, well, that ain't no gold, that ain't no gold. Roll on, brother, roll on easy. How can I roll when the wheel don't go? This old hammer killed John Henry, well, it won't kill me. No, it won't kill me. Look at the sun look low. Ask my boy, was it time to go? He said, roll on, buddy, roll on easy. How can I roll when the wheel don't go? Roll on, buddy, roll on easy. How can I roll when the wheel won't go?
Okay, so that started with Aunt Molly Jackson singing Ragged Hungry Blues in New York City in 1931. She was actually a big inspiration to Woody Guthrie and his style of songwriting. I love that she's not that good at singing or playing the guitar. I just think it really adds to the beauty of the recordings, is that she's kind of just very mid at both those things, but it's just has this story that she's willing to tell and has a lot of like presence as a performer. So yeah, I really like those recordings and how she talks about the overwhelming nature of the situation and how she can barely put it into words, but somehow is trying to put it into song. After that, we heard another interview with a Triangle Shirtwaist Fire survivor. That is a man by the name of Max Hotfield. He was actually recorded in 1957. He's one of the rare recordings we got before the 80s. And that's only because he appears to have been recorded by a family member or something. It's definitely happening at a party. Like there's people having a party and the rest of the recording. So unclear to me how that recording happened, but I'm glad we have it, and his story is really sad, the story of losing his sister and of having to identify her body. He talks later about how he couldn't identify her body, but her sister's fiance, who she was engaged to be married to, that was the party that they had gone to that he talks about in the beginning of the recording, was able to identify her through a corset that he had given her as like a marriage present of some kind. Yeah, and if you go on Cornell's website, you can see a bunch of photos of what that process was like, of people looking through coffins to try to identify their loved ones. It's really horrific. So definitely take that in warning. But yeah, I'm really glad we have Max Hotfield's recording. He sounds much more with it than Pauline, which is fair. I mean, Pauline was old. She was 96, and no one needs to be with it at that age. But there was another recording, third recording by somebody named Dora Maisler that was also interviewed in the 80s, and she describes being on the picket line. Sorry. So there was a strike that happened 2 years before the Triangle Factory fire, and that's the picket line that she was on. Sadly, the recording is not very good quality, but it is really nice that you get to hear her talk about what it was like to be a striking worker in 1909. She was very young, and she describes, I mean, all the stuff that we know is a part of being on strike. So she describes fighting off agitators that were sent by her bosses. She describes like hiding wrenches in her dresses to defend herself with. She describes getting arrested constantly and the cops being like, "Oh, you guys again." And she describes getting brutalized by the cops, getting a black eye, all kinds of police brutality. And yeah, I mean, it's just such an image to think about these young women at the turn of the century, these like teenage girls who were just fighting for their rights and fighting off the cops and fighting off strikebreakers. And yeah, it's really amazing to think about. And all of them are dead now, and it's just baffling again that we didn't ask them for more information about that when they were alive. And so after that, you heard a rendition of Hard Times at the Mill. That's an Alex Glasgow track from 1971, but it was originally recorded by Pete Seeger in 1956, and Pete Seeger also wrote that song. He wrote and sang a lot of Union songs his whole life, and he was a truly amazing performer and an amazing person. He had this show called Rainbow Quest that I recommend you listen to. He's got such a nice, calming, like Mr. Rogers type presence, and he interviews a lot of amazing folk musicians. He interviews Elizabeth Cotton. He interviews Mississippi John Hurt. It's a great series, and it was all done in the 1940s, so it's like beautiful black and white imagery. And yeah, Pete Seeger kept a lot of these union songs, these worker rights songs alive during his life. After that, you heard miner and union organizer George Davis. He was singing Harlan Country Blues. That recording is from 1940. George Davis was a miner. He was injured in a mining accident. And then after that, he worked as a performer and helped organize other workers in Kentucky specifically. And Harlan Country Blues, County Blues is specifically about police violence against unionized workers. I don't know if you could hear it in the lyrics. He's just talking about like all the reasons people got arrested that were in his group of unionized workers. And it's just like silly reasons like walking strangely. So basically any reason to put them under arrest. But it's also kind of a tongue-in-cheek song. And he's like, he ends the song by being like, yeah, we had a lot of fun. I love that spirit of like resistance and also kind of like trying to get one up on the cops. And yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. What else do I have to tell you? Oh yeah, and then we ended with Odetta's version of Roll On Buddy. That was kind of a more general workers' rights song. Aunt Molly Jackson does do a version of it in 1939, but I love Odetta. I think that anything she touches, she makes like 1,000 fucking times better because she's just, her voice is amazing. Yeah, so I'm going to play some more Aunt Molly Jackson tracks for you. But before that, I wanted to shout out my friend Addison, who sent me an amazing historical he sent me down a little rabbit hole about miners' rights organizing. So I just want to tell you guys to look into it. He sent me a link to the Battle of Blair Mountain, which was the largest labor uprising in the United States history. And it was miners in Appalachia who took up arms against strikebreakers and against their bosses. And it's just, you have to go read about it. It's amazing. And it happened in 1921. And there was like armed miners, like with guns in Sniper's Nest, shooting at the Army. Just so cool. And yeah, I mean, they were eventually beaten back down by the Army, but it was an historically large uprising. So this moment is really pivotal to like 1910s and 20s. And I think the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire, you know, it's just a part of that. It's part of this like growing movement in challenging capitalism that is like 100 years ago now. It's so crazy that these people did so much work and we're still kind of stuck in this scheme. So anyway, let's go back into some music. I have some more surprises for you. I hope you're enjoying listening as much as I enjoyed researching.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union is coming here to dwell. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? We've started a good battle, we know we sure to win, because we got the guns of the looking mighty thin. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? With pistols and with rifles, they take away our bread, and if you miners sin it, they sock you on the head. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? You're up in Harlan County, there is no neutral there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Oh, gentlemen, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Oh, will you be a gun thug or will you be a man? Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? They say they have to starve us to educate their child. Their children live in luxuries, their children almost wild. Oh, which side you on? Which side are you on? My father was a miner, he's 90 year and son. He was with you fellow workers until this battle's won. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? This song was composed and sung by the two children of Sam Reese's, two little girls, one 9 and one 11. It was made from the conditions of their father and themselves. He was an organizer in Harlan County for the UMWA in 1931, and because of the treatment that this family received, these two little girls, 9 and 11, composed this song. Anything that should ever be derived from it should go to Sam Reed.
I don't want your millions, mister. I don't want your diamond ring. All I want is the right to live, mister. Give me back my job again.
Now I don't want your Rolls Royce, mister. I don't want your pleasure yacht. All I want's just food for my baby. Give to me my old job back. We worked to build this country, mister, while you enjoyed a life of ease. You've stolen all that we built, mister. Now our children starve and freeze. So I don't want your millions, mister. I don't want your diamond ring. All I want is the right to live, mister. Give me back my job again. Think me dumb if you wish, mister. Call me green or blue or red. This one thing I sure know, mister. My hungry babies must be fed. Take the two old parties, mister. No difference in them I can see. But with a farmer labor party, we could set the people free. So I don't want your millions, mister. I don't want your diamond ring. All I want is the right to live, mister. Give me back my job again.
Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, to bless my soul, you load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. I was raised in the canebrake by an old mama lion. Can't no high-toned woman make me walk the line. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't, a lot of men died. One fist of iron, the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
Yes, I am a prisoner. Fear not to relay my crime. The crime is loving the forsaken. Against us is the law with its immensity of strength and power. Against us is the law. Police know how to make a man a guilty or an innocent. Against forevermore be paid in gold. Against us is the power of the gold. Against us is the racial hatred and the simple fact that we're poor. The workers and the poor. For all of this I'm safe and strong and hope is mine. Rebellion, revolution don't need dollars, they need this instead. Imagination, suffering, light and love and care for ending human beings. Never steal, you never kill, you are a part of strength and life. The revolution goes from man to man and heart to heart. And I sense when I look at the stars that we are children of life. Death is small.
So, yeah, wasn't that that song is just such a devastating banger. We'll come back to it. What you heard first was one of the earliest recorded versions of the classic track, Which Side Are You On? Probably one of the most famous protest songs. So that was Jim Garland's version in 1937. The facts he said at the end are a little bit embellished. It's true that the song was written by Florence Reese. It's true that she wrote this song when she was 12, so in the year 1912. She wrote this song after her dad was arrested for union organizing, and yeah, I'm guessing that more lyrics were added because it does seem like very, very developed for a 12-year-old, but the sentiment is really there, and I like to imagine her in solidarity with the Triangle Shirtwaist victims as well. I mean, this was the year after the fire, and she was really close to the age of those victims. The youngest person to die in the Triangle Shirtwaist fire was 14 years old. So, yeah, they were really close, even though they were in age, even though they were on other sides of the United States. And I hope she knew about them. I don't know. News traveled differently then, but I hope she knew. After that, you heard Pete Seeger and the Almanac Singers again. They were doing I Don't Want Your Millions, Mister, which was a track originally written by Jim Garland. So he sang the Which Side Are You On that you heard before that, and he wrote this one, I Don't Want Your Millions, Mister. That is a recording from the 1930s. I don't have the exact date in my notes for some reason, but it's on the Alan Lomax archive if you want to look it up. And then after that, we heard another true classic, 16 Tons by Tennessee Ernie Ford. So that's a recording from 1955. I just wanted to point out a few things about the songs we just heard. First, that I was struck by the line in Which Side Are You On? That mentions that there is no neutral side and that you're either with the bosses or with the workers, which, you know, is the whole point of the song. But it's just such an ideal that is still relevant today. This idea that if you're not doing anything, then you are choosing a side. And then also in the other song that Jim Garland wrote, how the laborers even then, workers even then, rejected this two-party system and were for just a workers' party instead. And then, yeah, we ended with that incredible banger. God, I love that song. It's The Ballad of Sacco and Vanzetti. It is a collaboration between Ennio Morricone and Joan Baez. So Nicola Sacco and Bartolomeo Vanzetti were two Italian immigrants, and they were both labor organizers in Boston in the 1920s. They worked in factories, and they were accused of killing a merchant in the 1920s, and they were both executed in 1927, even though they both had significant alibis that put them away from where the crime happened. They were killed for being anarchists, for being labor rights organizers, and that murder happened just a year after Joe Hill was also executed. So there was this really powerful labor movement, and I would say the peak would be the Battle of Blair Mountain in 1921, and then there was this intense and violent state repression that happened later, and then there was the war after that. So a lot of this stuff didn't get picked up again until the folk revival, and that song is simply a song version of a letter that Vanzetti wrote his father. So that's why it starts with, "My father dear, I am a prisoner," because that's how he started his letter. He was imprisoned. He was about to be executed. And I think it just touches really beautifully on what the workers are up against, on the law, on the police, on capitalism. And it has so much hope and so much beauty. And that coming from a man who was about to die, it really gives me shivers every time to think of Vanzetti having this kind of presence of mind and clarity and artistry so close to his death. I wish I could play this song on a loudspeaker 24/7. I love it so much. I first heard it because my parents had a Best of Ennio Morricone CD at our house, and I used to listen to it all the time, and I had no idea what it was about, but I just thought it was so beautiful. And then I finally Googled it as an adult, and I was really excited to bring it to you as part of this program, because a lot of the things I bring in are things that are new to me, but I like to just kind of spice in with some stuff that is part of my life. Yeah, we're nearing the end of our show today. I hope you really liked it as much as I did. I hope that it was interesting to you. I hope it makes you consider this legacy a little more, and yeah, maybe starting a union in your workplace if you don't have one already. I know at my work we're getting ready to maybe do the transfer to becoming worker owned, and yeah, so much of that ability that we have is from this legacy of struggle to just even get basic rights and form unions and be able to decide on, have agency over the work that we do. Yeah, I'm going to leave you with a few little sweet things for dessert, and then maybe I'll come back and talk. We'll see how much time we have left. But the first thing I'm going to start with is this Bruce Springsteen cover of Joe Hill. So that song you heard by Paul Robertson. Bruce Springsteen sang this song on International Workers' Day in Tampa, Florida. When I heard it, I became even more horny for Bruce Springsteen than I already am. So yeah, I'm going to play it for you now. This song is my national anthem. I'm obsessed. I want to wave my lighter around right now during the beginning part. So I hope it makes you feel that way too. Enjoy.
Well, I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake, Joe, by God, says I am standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, says Joe.
says Joe, but I ain't dead. More voice. The copper ball says, shot you, Joe. They killed you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man, says Joe, I didn't die. Says Joe, I didn't die. Standing there, as big as life, smiling with his eyes. Joe says what they forgot to kill went on to organize. Went on to organize. Joe Hill ain't dead, he says to me. Joe Hill ain't ever died. Well, working men go out on strike. Joe Hill is at their side. Joe Hill is at their side. From San Diego up to Maine, in every mine and mill, where working men go out on strike, says he, you'll find Joe Hill. Says he, you'll find Joe Hill. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I'm a Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he.
almost dead. I'm a coal miner. I'm a coal mining man. And I guess I'll die with the shovel in my hand. Way down in the mine, gonna strike a new vein. Moment I'll say at the end of this day, you can add 10 turns to my name. I'm a coal miner. I'm a coal mining man. And I guess I'll die with the shovel in my hand. Way down in the mine, I'm gonna strike a new vein. Moment I'll say at the end of this day, you can add 10 turns to my name. I'm a coal miner. I'm a poor old coal miner man. And I guess I'll die with the shovel in my hand. Work all day long. I guess I'll die with the shovel in my hand. I had a mighty, mighty hard day. I guess I'll die with the shovel in my hand. I'm a poor old coal miner man, picking all down in the land. Yes, I'll die with the shovel in my hand.
So that was again Bruce Springsteen doing Joe Hill live in Tampa, Florida. And yeah, what a great version. And I think at the end he just yells unions really loud, which hell yeah, I guess. And then after that there was a Stones track, Factory Girl. And yeah, I also am gonna out myself as being kind of basic, but I do love the Stones. And finally we heard Nappy Brown doing Coal Miner Alternate. So another version of this song about working in the coal mines that just got taken and moved into various genres. And it's just really nice to think about these workers' rights songs then just being a part of history through music throughout different musical genres. Yeah. And also I think it's just such a beautiful cover. Yeah, I have a little more time in my show that I thought. So I'm going to play you another Ennio Morricone and Joan Baez track. This one is called Here's to You, Nicola and Bart. So it's another song that they collaborated on for Sacco and Vanzetti. Both these songs were made for a movie about the two of them. So I haven't watched the film, but I guess I should after this. And then let you guys know how it is. But if you want to watch it, Ennio Morricone does the whole score. And then, yeah, sometimes accompanied. So I'll play you that next. And then I have a little surprise for you guys to end the program with. And yeah, maybe I'll play a few things in between. I don't know. I'm kind of winging it now. So we'll see. Anyway, here they are again. So yeah, another note about that song is that it uses, once again, words directly from Sacco and Vanzetti. The phrase, your agony is your triumph, and the last and final moment is yours, are both from their final words. And they chose their final moments to speak to workers' rights and to kind of reclaim the moment of their deaths and be like, the last and final moment is ours. This agony is our triumph, so that in death they would be triumphant. So yeah, you can read their last words, available online too. It is just really devastating, but also very beautiful. And yeah, thanks so much for listening today. I have a little surprise to end with. I think that organizing is amazing and we should do it, but I think it's time to take the next step, as some people already have. So the next song is about what I think we should do next. Shout out to my friend Addison for sending me some information about Blair Mountain. Shout out to Robin, who's hanging out in the studio with me, and my partner Chris, who is tuning in. And my friends Sarah and Anders, who helped me out earlier when I was freaking out about not being able to get the mixer to work. Yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Yeah, this go. 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Yeah, this go. I'm justified it was worth your waiting. On the turf debating how to get it percolating. You working you while we happy just to work a day. But I'ma slap them till my blood starts circulating. Do your checks have elasticity? Did they cut off your electricity? Did you scream and yell explicitly? Force the boss into complicity. I'm a white chalk stencil, but I push a pencil. Rolling dope fiend rentals through your residential. Broke as fuck eating lentils with no utensil. Finna teach pimp class with a whole credential. They own sweatshops, pet cops, and fields of cola. Murder babies with their molars on the areola. Control the Pope, Dalai Lama, holy rollers, and the Ayatollah. Bump this rolling in your bucket or your new Corolla. Or you might catch me on the scenic route with my penis out, yelling twines for the executives with the meanest mouth. Wanna know what this demeanor's about? City try to clean us out. Green as cloud, shut them down. They ain't never seen a drought. Interview, but they ain't calling you back. And for the record, I ain't called it a gap. But tuck this in the small of your back. Wait in the bathroom stall till a tap. Got 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Yeah, this go. 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Yeah, this game ain't slow, it's the creeper. If you a janitor, get a street sweeper. Ugly is even skin deeper. If you can't get the prayers, get the Viper. They made the murder scene before there was a coroner. I might have been born here, but I'm a foreigner. Spilling swigs for victims of pigs and not Feeney's kid. Flip off the lid, who you going for? You too could be a corporate green killer, bean spiller. Gangster of love, just like Steve Miller. They wear skivvies that's made of chinchilla. Factory in Mexico, Bar Spring Villa. I'm from the land where the Panthers grew. You know the city and the avenue. If you the boss, we'll be smabbing through and we'll be grabbing you to say what's up with the revenue. And if you feel it, we can either try to seal it with the 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Yeah, this go. 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Yeah, this go. It's a boom in child prostitution when they show up at the stroll. Give them lead restitution. You could throw a 20 in Nevada hot or when they jump in after it, watch them board. Toss $1 in the river and when he jump in, if you find he can swim, put lead boots on him and do it again. You and a friend, videotape and the party don't end. Tell him that boogers be selling like crack. He gon' put the little baggies in his nose and suffocate like that. Put a 50 in the barrel of a gun when they try to suck it out. Well, you know this one. Make sure you ain't got no priors. Don't tell them that we conspired. We could let them try to change a flat tire, or we could all at once retire. These are just a few of the 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Hear how this go. 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap them up and shake them up and then you know. Let them off the float and bait them with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Hear how this go. Bay Area, get ready to brawl. Bay Area, you ready to brawl. LA, get ready to brawl. LA, are you ready to brawl? Chi-Town, get ready to brawl. Chi-Town, are you ready to brawl? Detroit, are you ready to brawl? Detroit, are you ready to brawl? Atlanta, are you ready to brawl? Atlanta, you ready to brawl? Houston, get ready to brawl. Houston, get ready to brawl. New York, are you ready to brawl? New York, are you ready to brawl? London, get ready to brawl. London, are you ready to brawl? Cape Town, get ready to brawl. Cape Town.